What is going on, everybody? My name is Keegan, and before I get into today's video, I want to wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. Whether or not you actually watch us on Thanksgiving, please try to find at least one thing today to be thankful for. We all have so much in our lives that we can easily take for granted, myself included, and today of all days, no matter what day it is, just find at least one thing to realize that you are, thankful for having that. So, before we get into this video, let's find somewhere to set the camera down. This should work for now. Before I actually get into the reason that you guys are here, I want to give you a little bit of background on myself. Now, I know that the easiest thing to resort to when you see a title like this is the fact that I, grew up in a wealthy home or, grew up rich and just had everything handed to me, which is not the case. Now, although I've not worked as hard as some people have, putting in 100+ hours a week to make their dreams come true, I hope that you guys can be enlightened to a different situation and just hang around and we'll get to it eventually. So, I didn't grow up rich, but I did not grow up poor. We didn't struggle. Both my parents worked very hard for all that we have, and I was an only child and I was spoiled. I wasn't simply just handed a car when it came time to buy one. So whenever I was looking at, getting my first car, I sold things, I mowed lawns, I worked for my parents, I worked, around the neighborhood. I did whatever I could to raise the money and eventually raise $1,500. I know that's not enough, to get a very reliable car, get something that, is going to last me a while. So I talked to both my parents and thankfully they both agreed to match whatever I was able to raise. So I eventually did then have $4,500 and I went out and found a 2000 Toyota Celica. No, that's not the dream car we're here about today. For that, let's go ahead and move to the garage. So we're in the garage now, and unfortunately, my dream car is not here. That's right, I've actually sold it, and this video is a few years late, but nevertheless, I wanted to go ahead and talk about everything that led up to me being here. Right behind me, that's my 2007 G35, and the car that this camera is resting on is my 2013 Subaru WRX. Now, neither of those cars, like I said, are what I'm making the video about today, but this all leads up to where I'm at in life and how I've actually gotten here. So after I had that first car for about a year, I, had never really viewed cars as more than simply a way to get around. Both my parents had owned the same car for so long, and whenever I finally did get my own, it was just a means of transportation. The reason that this started to change for me is that my dad finally decided to splurge on himself for once, something that many people find difficult. It's easy to splurge on your family on birthdays and holidays and vacations, but to actually splurge on yourself is something that a lot of people can struggle with, and my dad finally decided to, which was in the form of a new Mercedes SLK. It's exactly what you expect when you think of a midlife crisis car, but he loved it. This car turned into so much more than simply a way to get from point A to point B. And this was the first time that I viewed a car as any more than just a means of transportation. This started to get my gears rolling about why people are so interested in cars and why people enjoy them and buy so many with the money that they do earn. Now, before I get into the rest of this video and why we are here and how this all happened, let's go ahead and get inside one of the cars. The reason that I bring up all of that stuff about myself, my family, and how I got to this point is that on January 19th, 2014, I received news that my dad had passed away. And I played around with the idea so many times of how to exactly introduce this in a video, what to say, and it's tough. I don't know exactly how to convey this to you guys, what this did for my life, but it absolutely crushed me. And now today I can see that it made me exactly who I am, but at the time, it was unreal. I had never been through anything of that sort. I had never really even had a friend lose someone this close to them, so I never even thought that this was something that could happen to me. So in the coming weeks, of course, there were talks, with funerals and the visitations and family and friends, and if that was any of you guys, I can't thank you enough. And of course, with all of this, there was this talk, about his will and about what he had left for me. And after a few months, I did receive what he had left for me, and I wanted to give every penny of it back just to have him there. And I know that's not possible, and I know that's something that you just can't do. But even today, I would give everything that I have just to have him here. But with all of that said, with what he had left for me, I went back to the idea of how that Mercedes had been bonding time. It had been more than just a car. And so whenever, I got this sum of money, I put, a lot of it away for school and just to, pursue other dreams. But with a chunk of it, I went out and I got a 2014 Scion FRS. And that car is where my journey began. From there, I owned it for about a year. I modified it. I started to, go out to car shows and do little things within the car community. And even then, I had no idea just how vast and how amazing this community would be. After that year, we get to my dream car. And I had always been looking at those new Mustangs ever since they were released at, the big auto show. And there was one in town that was exactly what I wanted. I went out, sold the FRS, and was able to buy my dream car of a 2015 Mustang GT. I'll overlay some footage here, and over the time that I had that car, it was unreal to see how far, you could go in the car community and where, it could take you. I went on a drag strip, I went around a track, and I did so much that I would have never imagined doing. And through this, I had an outlet for any time I was feeling down. I had a way to feel like my dad was with me every single day on my way to school or my way to work. And to finish up this video, let's jump back inside. I wanted to go out to the cars as a way to realize how far that I've come and to show myself once again how incredible this journey has been. Although it started with the lowest point in my life, it ended at surely the highest. And every day I'm learning, I'm growing. I can change my own wheel, I can, do an oil change, and I can do so much more that I never imagined. And I didn't think that I would find fun in those things, and I surely never expected that they would get me through the roughest time of my life. They have. For any of you guys out there struggling, just know that it's those times that build you. It's those times that make you. And without this, horrible circumstance in my life, I would have never, found what I truly want to do. I would have never had this direction in life, and I can't express how thankful I am, which sounds crazy, but to be in this position, it's not about the money. It's not about, any of those material things. It's simply about being shown what you're meant to do. We can easily pass it up. We might think that it's crazy when something new comes our way, but it's those things that can change you, and it's those things that if you allow them can absolutely make your life and take it in an entirely different direction. This Thanksgiving, guys, like I said, don't forget to, find something to be thankful for. Don't forget to thank the friends and the family that you have, or even the pet that you have if you don't have anything else. Be thankful, be grateful, and have an incredible rest of your day.